this feeling inside. Can't find no balance.
Good morning.
I must be missing the point.
Let's get Chief in here.
Inside, can't find no balance in my mind.
What's up?
Morning.
Good
How we doing
morning.
this morning with the audio?
I'm doing well. I got up early. My son plugged his iPad in my bedroom last night because he lost his charger, and he had his school alarm set for 6:30. I was like, "What the hell's going on around here?"
Why is it we wake up early on the weekends when we don't have to be anywhere? What the hell? I did the
Well,
same thing.
if you ask me, like I try not to rest from the week. I try to build the life that I want instead of relax from the life I live. But you're right. It's nice to be able to sleep in sometimes and just to kind of let it go. And it seems like every time I try to do that, something happens and I'm awake.
I hear ya. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Talk, episode 14 with Sunny and Chief. Can you guys hear me okay?
It's episode 15, I think.
15. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. How's the music? How's everything? The audio? Just need to know before I proceed.
The music's low,
Okay. Loud and clear.
but
Fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you. How's the music,
I
Chief?
hear you, Lima Charlie. Pound me over.
Do you need the music higher? I just need a
I
little
don't.
music. I just don't want to muzzle myself. Okay. Sound is good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, welcome to Coffee Talk. This is, in fact, episode 15. We ran episode 14 last Saturday. Both Sunny and Chief run an episode called Coffee Talk. And if you've been joining us, you know we keep it real. We are excited to be here this Saturday morning. It is a frisky Saturday morning here. It's 42 degrees. Not really excited about that because Sunny likes it sunny and warm. So, we're about to kick it off. We just started with our early morning rise. What do you got in your cup this morning, Chief?
1776.
Fantastic. I'm not that extravagant this morning. I just got the donut shop in here because Sunny has to buy a little portable K cup holder. I lost it. And so I can put back in my other coffee. But I definitely am drinking out of Make Your Coffee Stronger Than Your Daughter's Attitude. And if you have a 16-year-old, you know what I'm talking about. It comes strong sometimes. So the coffee definitely has to be strong.
Daughter's only 11 and she's got a pretty strong attitude.
I will be offering you therapy in a few years. I'll be like, come talk to me. I'll guide you through it. It's a roller coaster, guys. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Most definitely is. But I'm surviving it. I'm surviving it. So last night we had Veterans Live. I thought it was a pretty good live, but all of our veterans' lives are. They're very different. There's really never really a strict plan that we have to stick to of conversation. But I thought it was good. What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it last night. It's right before Veterans Day, so I thought that our topic of conversation last night was right on point. I mean, we kind of were a little bit all over the board. We talked about stigmas behind PTSD, veterans' mental health, bridging the gap between civilian and veterans, what that kind of looks like, all kinds of stuff. It was really, to me, I reflected quite a bit on our coffee talk last night and even just the people that were there.
I agree. We had a good crowd of people. And I think across the board, one of the things that I've come to realize is that there's so many like-minded individuals. And what I mean by that, I'm referring to a mindset, right? So many people wanting to match that energy, so many people wanting to proceed a life of positive energy, finding positive people, because positivity really is a huge part in how we move forward in our day to day. You know, we tap into those people that are going to give us that positive energy. I don't know anybody that says, oh, let me call this one because they're definitely going to put me in a funk. You know, it's not something we want to do. So, yeah, definitely a great live, great people.
Unfortunately, that's oftentimes what we're given, though. For example, um, family members that we love and keep in touch with a lot of times dump on us, And it's not that we're going to them for that put me in a bad mood. It's that we're communicating with them because we love them and know that that's probably going to be part of it, which a lot of the times doesn't help us.
Yes, I did a brave thing this morning. I love my mother. You guys know I love my parents. But man, oh man, mom knows how to empty that cup real quick. I never drank my first cup of coffee so fast. But I did something brave this morning. I said, all right, Sil, knock it out. Knock it out. You got to call her. So my parents live overseas, as you guys know. So it is my weekly call. And Sunny's talked about this before, how I used to call every single day. I felt, keeping them close. What I realized was that it wasn't good for me. It might have been good for them, maybe. I'm not quite sure. And I'm not about to ask. But it was emptying my cup first thing in the morning. So I said, "Oh, I can't do this. I just can't do this." So I kind of transitioned over to a once a week call. I feel that it gives us time and room to actually have something meaningful to talk about instead of how's the weather today and nothing else. So that's helping me quite a bit. But yeah, I did that first thing this morning. I was super proud of myself. I actually patted myself on the back. I was like, good job, Sol. Good job.
Yeah, good job knocking that out first thing on a Saturday. Next thing you know, you're going to be telling us how you cleaned all day.
Okay, no, well, I call it Saturday is cleaning day. That's my kids have that engraved in their minds. During the week we maintain, and during the weekend, Saturday is designated cleaning day. As they've gotten older, they're less. They should know. They should know, and I'm getting less support, or I don't know, more resistance because they have so many things to do, and cleaning is not on their plan. But if you're just joining us, welcome to Coffee Talk. This is episode 15 with Sunny and Chief every Saturday morning, unless we let you know that we're unable to be here. But yes, we are tapping to 22K, bringing awareness to 22 a day. Every time that we are live, we bring this to the forefront of all of our messaging because it is a number, yes, but there's a lot of significance behind this number. And we do bring education to the platform and within our communities as well. A lot of it you'll see even on our t-shirts. Today I'm just wearing my Sunnyside logo here, but I believe it's this sleeve. This is my 22 a day. And I actually love the back. There's a big 22 on it and it says Veterans Lives Matter. So if you ever have any questions about what 22 stands for, why we make reference to it, please ask. It's important. Knowledge is power. Sharing is caring. The more we share this out there, the more we're educating our families, our friends, and our own communities. And hopefully, together, because we are better together, stronger together, we can bring more awareness to this.
Absolutely. I did want to talk about something that
Yeah.
just kind of spurred from the Veterans Live last night. I was thinking about my daughter got home from school yesterday and she was in a really piss poor mood, like giving me a lot of attitude. And I was like, what happened? And she's like, "You're annoying." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I clearly it wasn't me that put you in this mood." She goes, "Yeah, it was." And I was like, "Man, you got home like this." But anyway, so I asked her to do the dishes and she came in with her attitude and I was cooking supper at the time at the stove right next to the sink and she grabbed a cup and just like flung it to put it in the dishwasher, but it had milk in it and all of the milk came out of the glass. It hit me right in the ear as I'm standing there cooking, and I had to stop myself because that pissed me off so bad. Like I was instantly triggered, and I realized right then, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm about to snap. Like I really, really, really want to snap." And I was like, "Breathe, breathe, breathe." Well, I was so pissed off in that moment. I remember I was like, "I can't even breathe. I don't even want to just yell. Like I want to react at this point." So I'm glitching at this point, just standing there trying to remember to breathe. And my daughter realized what she had just done. And she went from like her real pissed off attitude to, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," so fast.
Yeah.
And it gave me a little bit of time. Like that was so hard for me not to just get triggered. I know if that had happened like 7 years ago, if Xander had done that at the sink, he would have got thumped on the head or something like that. But I didn't. I didn't even yell. It was actually. I'm glad that I glitched because she realized quickly that she had messed up and she was over the top apologetic,
Yeah.
ready to get stuff done. But I was really I realized that it had taken me a lot of years of practice to not just snap. I remember there was a time in my life where I would have not even realized that I had snapped. I would have just done it and then maybe probably regretted how poorly I handled that situation later on. And after last night's live with, we talked about some stigmas and how not all of us are on the same journey, on the same place in our journey.
Hmm.
And that takes so much work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of daily practice to get to the point where we can somewhat control or completely control our response or lack of response.
Yeah.
And I realized how big of a deal that is because think about that. What if I hadn't just stopped? What if I had just responded and reacted and had a poor experience with my daughter that really dramatically impacts our relationship now? And so my point of that is that I'm aware now more so of when I'm triggered. I'm more aware now of how to control that to get a more positive outcome and actually parent that situation correctly rather than just out of rage.
Yeah. I definitely, and we've definitely evolved in our parenting styles, most certainly. Looking back, I'm like, I didn't always handle that right. But again, I say give yourself some grace. We did the best that we could. And they don't come with manuals, and neither does parenting, guys. We do the best that we can to raise responsible children to go into the world and become responsible adults that have good hearts and care about people. And society isn't helping that much. So we have a harder job to do. And we have a lot of things against us now. The difference now is social media. Social media plays a significant role. It's the music they take in, it's all of it. But I'm proud of you. Good job. My son was a cranky pants. My daughter was cranky pants yesterday. Had times two. I was like, what is in the air? What is happening? You guys are sucking my energy. But I just kept breathing. I did breathe. I was like, "Ooh, this is not good. You're sucking my energy, and I have a life tonight." So I was like, "You guys are hungry, aren't you? How about some pizza?" I don't want pizza. I want pizza. But anyway, at the end of the day, everybody got their bellies full. The mood seemed to change a little bit. I did get an apology from my almost 21-year-old, which I thought was really nice. I said, "Good night, and I love you." And he said, "I'm really sorry. I was such an a-hole." I was like, "Yep, yep, you were." And I got another message this morning. And I was like, awesome, I'm doing something right. So, guys, this is what I'm going to say. Even when you think you failed, why? They will come around. Just stay consistent. Recognize the areas that you need to improve in as a parent and what you want to receive. Our children are going to match our energy. Energy is matched all over the freaking place, whether it's in your workplace, your friendships, your family. Your kids are watching, they are role modeling. And no, we're not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, but apologize. And I demonstrate what that looks like, accountability, because we do have a personal accountability to ourself, our actions, instead of just saying, because I said so, which is something I used to do with my oldest, because I said so. Well, you know what? That was very like authoritative, and that's how my father raised me too. And I was afraid to blink. And I don't know if that was the answer either. But what I do know is that my children know they're loved. And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about? We kind of talked about that last night, how our group of people just feel loved all over the place. And love is an action word. Love is a feeling. Love is something you feel from people. It's an energy you get off of them, that someone genuinely cares about your well being, and that always goes back to our 22 conversations. And it's easy to get sucked into, especially on social media, into groups that are I don't know, it's just negativity across the board. Well, how do you grow from that? I know that there's a time and there's a place. I go to that place. Sometimes I call you, I'm like, I got to rant. I got to get this off my chest. But then the hope is, or my expectation of our friendship, our relationship to the person that I'm coming to is that they're going to hold me accountable, number one, and number two, redirect me. That's what I hope they'll do for me, because that means they genuinely care about me as a person, and they know they don't want to see me stay there or celebrate me there. They're going to try to kick me in the pants and be like, all right, I heard what you had to say. Let's problem solve, offer some suggestions. And I think too often individuals, I was in this place at one point in my life. We get caught up in that negative energy, that negative drama, and we don't move from there. You're not evolving. So how are you improving your life?
You covered a lot of amazing points there, and I'd like to touch on a couple. You'd mentioned about failing, and I know for myself, the a lot of us, the way we were raised, we weren't, we were supposed to be perfect. We weren't allowed to make mistakes. And then we get into career fields or military where it's not acceptable to fail or to make mistakes. We have to do everything right. We have to do everything exactly right, step by step, and in a timely fashion. And that really does bleed into our relationships, especially our parenting. And we have to understand that it's normal to not be perfect all the time, and it's okay. And we learn from those opportunities. And it's especially important, like I said, with our family and being able to communicate that. And that's especially hard, like for myself as a veteran, where I expect all of these things to be put away in a timely fashion without even having to be told, just do. And with kids, that's impossible. Like, we cannot have that expectation of them, because I sit and I'll listen to myself, how I'm talking to my children about what I would like done at the house. And then I will go to work and I realize I have a higher standard for my young children than I do of grown adults. And
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to realize that, you know what, it doesn't have to be perfect. We can move on from failure, but at the same time, we don't have to push that onto our children like happened to us. I'm sure it's not that important that it's done right now all of the time. Oftentimes it's not that important that this was left or there's trash or this or that. It can wait. We can focus on what we need to do. But I think that it's equally as important to be able to talk about that, because I hear so many people saying, nobody understands, nobody understands. Well, do you even understand what your triggers are? Do you understand that you
Hmm.
get upset when you see something out of place, or that trash there, or somebody not responding immediately to you the way you think they should? Like, do you understand that you sometimes respond inappropriately, maybe out of anger, or maybe our responses aren't very good, and it's hard to be supportive of that? But I don't think that we can progress on that or overcome that without first identifying and knowing that about ourselves, so that we can take that next step. Well, what is that next step? That's different for everyone. A lot of times it's focus on your breathing or getting your balance, with music, with art, with working out, with some type of physical activity, walking barefoot in the grass, hugging a tree, smelling some coffee. I don't care.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of different things, but we need to be more aware of that and take accountability and ownership of it. And something that stands out in my mind is, like I said yesterday, I went to a veterans assembly for my son's middle school, and I loved what the children did. I love what the school is doing, but I didn't fully agree with the message that I had heard from a couple of individuals, because they're generalizing veterans, they're generalizing PTSD. And the truth of the matter is, anyone with traumas in their life has PTSD. Most of us, my age and older, for sure, have some form of trauma from our parents. The military does amplify different types of health challenges and PTSD, but it's not just veterans.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I dislike hearing is when veterans generalize it and say we're all like this, and that this that they're generalizing is something negative.
Yeah.
Now it makes it even more challenging for me as a veteran to have communications with people, because they think, no, they're all like this. I'd rather just avoid that. And that's
Yeah.
not the case. That's not the case. A lot of people really are putting in the work, talking about it, showing that vulnerability to let people know it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to think, you're fucked up. I'm proud of you for realizing it. But when you can start to talk about it with other people, that's when you can start to get support. And people may not completely understand, but the fact that you're communicating it with them helps them empathize, sympathize a little bit better.
Absolutely. And I don't want to repeat everything you said, and I know we touched base on this last night, but you mentioned how much harder it makes it for you, somebody who is putting in the work, right? And you see the direction your life is going in. It's moved from this mindset to this mindset and all the work that it's taken. And then when our veteran community continues to put themselves in the same box they don't want to be in, but then how much harder does that also make it for me, a civilian who's advocating on behalf of our veterans, to be constantly told, no, we're going to stay stuck in this box. There's so much work that needs to be done. I really do believe, and you're 100% correct on the PTSD. Okay. We have to stop generalizing this. We have to stop making that association, because that's the stigma. Only veterans have PTSD. That's ridiculous. But to be at a school assembly and give this message out to our youth, and that's where it starts. And Sunny made reference to this yesterday. We as parents have such a responsibility in educating our children and teaching them about a veteran, teaching them about our military. So then later on in life, we can't pass that torch and say, take over, because I do see this needing to be a takeover. I don't think the changes we need to see within our communities is going to happen overnight. I think it's getting better, but we're not there. And definitely need to be, most certainly, and definitely behind the eight ball, giving support the way that we should be. Reference was made yesterday to the 988, and please understand, one of our veterans made reference to the 988 and the percentage of those calling. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to tell you not to call. You need to call somebody, period. You need to reach out to somebody. But the lack of education that these individuals behind the phone have is not where it should be. It should be somebody that, like you said, can sympathize, maybe a veteran, right? Not just somebody who's looking to get a certificate or possibly meet the qualifications of answering that kind of call. Because whether it be you or I, Chief, honestly, that would be a difficult call to take to begin with. And I've been around the veteran community. You are a veteran. So if we take the weight of that and say, holy shit, if I got that call, and I've had those calls, and they're not easy calls. Now imagine having to call a specific number and not getting what you're in need of at that's dangerous.
I can speak to that personally. I've been in the situations where I've called that number myself, and it didn't help me at all. I felt that I was being asked questions that were just to put in on paper, not because anybody gave a shit about me. So I ended up hanging up on that call.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate, but I get those calls, I get those messages a lot, and I'm the first to say I don't always have the tools, I don't always have the energy or the time, but I do care. And I think it's important for us to kind of educate ourselves on, if before we try to help anybody, we need to have a better understanding about what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we hear people and we want to fix them or help them. And so we try to make solutions, but that's not necessarily what needs to happen. We need to be able to listen actively without judgment, and just validate what that person's saying rather than focusing on finding a solution.
Yeah.
Validate the feelings, show that you understand to the best of your knowledge, show them empathy, validating the feelings, and actively listen, body language, eye contact, give them a hug,
Mm-hmm.
but don't try to fix everybody. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
It's not our job, guys. Um, too often, especially us empaths, okay? For the longest time in my life, I thought I had this, I tried to fix everybody. And I realized, even with my children, I'm like, oh, you have a project? Give it over, and I'd probably do the majority. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I can't fix it. I shouldn't be me doing it. What I should be doing is offering like that listening ear, right? How can I help you? The support, the love that goes with that. And at the end of the day, the responsibility is ours, but we first have to accept where we are, right? Identify the areas in our lives that we want to see change. And no one could do that for us. No one. It's honestly our job. We can lean into people that'll help us maybe get there, offer suggestions, encouragement, maybe even have a few tools. But at the end of the day, it's no one's responsibility. And too often we encounter people who will project that onto other people. Like, wait a minute, you're wanting me to assume responsibility for your situation. I have my own situations, and I don't know what you want to call that, but that's a heavy one. And I've been struggling with that, especially on this app, right? A lot of projection. There's a lot of projection. I think people think I wake up in the morning with like a cup full of energy. I don't. I'm like all of you. I'm human. I have to fill my cup. Okay, today is Saturday. What am I going to do today? I got to do my own things to get my energy where it's got to go so I can fill my cup and hopefully overfill it so it spills over onto you guys. But if my cup is empty, I'm not good to myself. I'm certainly not good to any of you, and I shouldn't be on this application.
Agreed, 1,000%. And like you said, I'll get a lot of messages, and my response lately to folks is, jump into the music live and just hang out with us. That has helped me tremendously, and I've received messages. It's helped other people. But what I see is there's a whole group of people that are there going through their own shit, their own traumas now, right now, while they're in the live, but they're there supporting other people with nothing but love.
Hmm.
And for me, music is one thing that I use that kind of helps me balance myself out. It takes a lot more than that. I'm not going to lie. I still have to do my physical exercise. I still focus on my breathing techniques. I still have to practice smiling. I probably fake it more than I'm really doing it, but I'm doing it a lot more. And
Yeah,
um, but just being there in that environment with like-minded people and people that care. It feels like a safe place. And if people do need to talk, they can chat it out there, but there's always somebody there that can help. And it's funny to me, a lot of times it's not who you think it might be. And a lot of times that whatever it is that changes your mood, whether it's the music, maybe it's a funny joke, maybe it's another story, but there's power behind unity and people supporting one another. So for myself, it's rather than having these phone conversations that go all through the night and now I'm missing supper with the kids, I'm not getting the homework done. I've allotted time where it's like, hey, come in, hang out, and people meet people that way, people help people that way. But if nothing else, at least they're getting their mind off of it to give them a
yeah,
little bit of buffer space, time to get a plan together to act more accordingly.
yeah. I think one of the things, and I'm proud of it, so I'm gonna say it. With the Sunny Side of Freedom platform and your platform, when you're doing the music therapy, is that at the end of each live, we reflect. I know we do because we talk about it too. We reflect on how was that live, and I think that we always walk away with this feeling of like, did you see the love that was in the room? Did people feel the love that was in the room? And people will tell us how they felt while they're in the room, meaning they feel supported, meaning they feel heard, they feel like they're amongst friends. And that's really what it should be, right? We're not just all sitting on a live, we're taking something from it, so we're adding value, but we're adding value together. Last night I made reference to, and I asked one of our veterans, said, who is the sunny side of freedom? And too often people just say, it's you, Sunny. Well, yeah, I'm Sunny, but the sunny side of freedom is all of you guys. It's all of us working together. Isn't that what it's about? It's bringing people together, to uplift, to encourage, to motivate, because too often, and I know it's overstated, but the truth of the matter is, even when I don't feel like smiling, you're going to see my plank out. You're going to see me smile. And yes, sometimes I have to force it. And those that know me will say, Sunny, what's the matter today? Your nose was crunchy. So that wasn't a real smile or something. They get to know you. And I'm like, oh, I just got a lot going on. And it was really hard today. But I'm still showing up for myself. And that's also what I'm demonstrating. No matter the night I had or the sleep that I didn't get, I'm still going to show up, not just for you guys, but for myself, because I do feel better afterwards. But our platforms and, making reference to music, Chief, music is power, guys. Music takes you places in your mind. Yes, it can bring you back to moments in time. It brings you back to some amazing memories, but it can also bring you back to some sad memories. So also be very mindful of where you are while you're listening to music. What's your mindset? Is that something you need to be listening to right now? Because it's an energy. And if you're in a funk, I wouldn't encourage you to stay there by listening to more depressing music. I just wouldn't do it because we've all done it, especially during breakup times, you know? Really shift that. And I appreciate what you do on your platform with the music therapy. We all come together and vibe. It's awesome.
Music has helped me tremendously, and that's why I do the music live, is because I think back of where I've been in these less fortunate positions in life, and listening to music helped me kind of focus on my breathing, kind of helped me tune some things out, so to speak, and change the way I think. And when I learned that I could change the way I think and stop focusing on all this negative and start focusing more on the positive and the next thing I need to do to improve, it changed my life completely. And I mean that. Like I really feel like I have overcome alcohol addiction. And when I look back on it, I didn't feel like I had a problem then. I was still functional, I was still parenting, but I was, I wasn't fully present. I was just going through the motions. I still had all this pain physically and especially emotionally. I lived in anxiety, and I see that now, but at the time I didn't realize it. And I wish I could say that there was one thing externally outside of us doing the work that could fix us, like 420. I wish I could say that that would do it. It certainly doesn't. And like I said earlier, and like I say all the time, it took a lot of work, for me, and that was so hard because I'd got in such a negative place, and I'd focused on so much that that's what was all around me. My friend groups were negative energy. My family was negative energy. Even at work, we focused on the gossip, or this is happening, the negative. And I put myself in the situation of just all this horrible shit that it took a lot of extra work every single day, and I still have a lot of work every single day to put in. But what I can say is my mindset has completely shifted from then to now, because now I know that it's temporary. Now I know that I can control my breathing, maybe not always my thoughts, but I know that they come and they go, and I
Hmm.
can kind of balance myself out and know that it's going to be all right and I'll get through this. And some days, people may not know this, but I might be having one of those days, and then I have a music live, and here comes all the love flooding in. The music helps, but it really is that support around me. And I know a lot of these people have their story. I know what's going on, and I feel for them, but it does something for me. It makes me feel so good that it really does fill me back up. And I do have a sense of mission behind that. Like, I feel like we are uniting, we are coming together and really helping one another out. And that is so worth it to me that it makes me even really emotional. I think I'm getting old because I'm starting to care and be all like, feelings and shit lately, but it
You're
really
not
does
wrong.
something for me.
It definitely makes us emotional every time. I don't know, Jim Tuff or Nikki Davis, if you're still here. I'm just saying, there's so many actually. But anytime I see a new planker, for instance, Jim Tuff this week, it makes me kind of emotional inside. It means that the consistency that I've demonstrated or the message that I'm putting out, people are finally understanding what it's about. It's not about the plank, guys. Yes, the plank is wonderful and it strengthens your core. And yes, our truth is in our core. Find your truth, it's there, because that's where you're going to struggle. You're going to shake. You're going to shake when you first start, and you're going to question, why is this so hard? And do I continue? And that's life. So get to planking is what I say, because it'll put everything into perspective for you. I remember when I started January 1st, or maybe even the 31st, it's like, holy hell, why is this so hard? And I quickly answered the question because I haven't done it and my body didn't know what to do with it. And then I had to make a decision. And that decision was, well, the hell with the plank. I'm not doing this shit because this is uncomfortable. It's stupid. I could have done all of that, right? All the things that we do to self sabotage. But I took the other route. Like, no, we're going to do this and we're going to do this every day. I have a message to put out, which is Nothing comes easy. You got to work at it. It's called practice. Practice kindness, practice self love, practice self discipline. Commit to something that you're passionate about. For me, it's not even so much the plank, it's the messaging of inspiring, of motivating, of unity, of love, of country. There's so much there for me. And the struggle I had was, how do I put this all into 1 minute video, right? It's not just about the plank, it's also about the message. It's about N22, it's about Veterans Lives Matter, it's about uniting veterans across the nation. All of these things in one video, and it's so hard to do. But I have to tell you, on the emotional piece, yes, it makes my heart smile when I see new plankers, because they understand that there's much more than just the plank. Um, but I'm proud of you, Chief, and I appreciate you sharing your piece on how you've overcome some of those struggles and the transparency and being honest with, yes, it takes work. Every freaking day is work on yourself.
And I love that you talk about the mindful moments during the plank, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I think the music helps me have those mindful moments. That's what meditation is having those mindful moments. And I think that once we realize our our triggers or the things that we need to improve, because we see it and we become more aware of it, that mindfulness is what helps us work through it and
Mm-hmm.
overcome that. And what's a trigger? Well, a trigger is anything that takes you out of your balance zone one way or
Yeah.
another. And again, oftentimes we don't even realize our triggers. Like I might struggle with that, having conversations with my mother, because I feel like I can talk with anybody in the world and not let it really get to me. But sometimes she can really get to me, and I'm like, I've done so much work. Why am I so pissed off still over this silly shit? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a constant work, but it's one that when we're aware of it, we can kind of take accountability for it and say, this is what I know I need to do to get
Yeah.
through this. And that looks different, no, regardless, but being aware is important. And that
I think
mindfulness helps us with.
Yeah, and I think that with our family members, whether mother or children, we have specific expectations because there's love there. There's a love bond there, right? Of some sort, connection. It's family. But at the same time, if we're going to hold ourselves accountable, it's like, why do I keep expecting a different outcome? Hello, it's going to continue to be the same unless the other person starts putting in the work to change, right? And that's their journey, not mine. So, this is the message I have to constantly repeat to myself, like, stop expecting a different conversation, stop expecting a different outcome until they have started doing what they need to do. And then I get less angry about it. Like, why? Why? She's supposed to be this or he's supposed to be doing that. At the end of the day, guys, people are who they are. We accept them as they are because we have to. But I'm going to say it. You can choose how much of that you want in your life. We refer to it as small doses, right? Small doses.
I talked to my therapist about this the other day, and she said it's like going to a dry well, right? We go to these people, like our loved ones, maybe a mother, and we know what to expect from that. Just like, if you go to the dry well and you put your cup down and bring it up, it's going to be dry. You don't yell at the well, or if a sailboat, you don't yell at the wind, you change your sails and adjust course and keep going. And I think that is the key to realize, like, not everything is a setback. It can be used as an opportunity. And I think that's where our growth comes in, is rather than just walking away from those situations or giving up on those situations, but when we readjust course, we find the sail, get the sail back in our winds, that's when we fully overcome it. It's not when we hide from it or walk away from it. And that is incredibly difficult to do, but it takes practice. And I talked a little bit earlier about it, is the communication is key. As I think back about failed relationships or poor experiences with even just parenting with my children, I I think it's important that if it happens, you communicate it. You apologize for what happened,
Hmm.
and then you try to explain, when this happened, it caused me to feel this. This is something that I practice with my kids as appropriate, but it's helped them to kind of be like, okay, I know if I do this moving forward, then that might upset dad or whatever the case is. But it was some for me in the military. It's not something I was ever taught to communicate feelings. It's like do. Don't make mistakes. Don't be late. Go, or hurry up and wait. But at home, it that hurt me because I didn't communicate when I was upset or the why because I didn't even know. And so that's what I'm saying. It's imperative if you want positive relationships, whether that's with a significant other or with kids or even with a parent, it's you have to find that common ground and that's whatever that is, whatever that conversation is, and express why with yourself so that they understand back and forth. Because when you can have those conversations, you might realize that it was triggered even before that and you didn't even realize it. So having those conversations, that open communication
Yep.
and being vulnerable and saying, I want to fix this, but I have to understand it. Like I have to talk about this so that we can understand one another and move forward from it. Because just putting it in a box and leaving it there is not a solution at all.
Yeah. No, it's what we call putting in the work, guys. We can shove things under the carpet for so long. I make reference to it as a soda can. You keep shaking that soda can, eventually it's gonna bust. And that's us. Um, some people like to not address what's down here because down here means shit. That sucks. And I got to put in the work. I got to address areas of my life that I don't want to look at, I don't want to talk about, I don't want to even think about. But until you do that, you're going to find yourself, it's kind of like a vicious cycle. You're doing the same thing. The same things are triggering you. And yes, triggers are a real thing. The more work you start putting in your life, the easier those triggers are to identify. One for me is anxiety. My oldest used to call me stress head. Seriously. You're just a stress head. And I was. He was right. You're just a stress head. Um, and now I have identified and I can feel it in my body. I listen to my body, the tension in my shoulders. I literally physically feel differently. And I can feel, I'm like, oh, I'm getting anxious. I feel it. I feel it. All right, got to change this. It's a conversation you have with yourself, like you would if it was your child who said, Mom, I'm feeling this way. You would immediately act. You would immediately say, okay, why don't you lay down? Did you try some water? You would immediately start like taking care of. But when it comes to us, we dismiss it. We just keep moving, that busyness, and the anxiety just keeps rising. So practicing the breathing, the relax, sit down for a minute. I wanted to make reference to the plank because I did read a comment in our live. And I will say this, if you're unable to do the plank, it's okay. Take a mindful moment. It could be sitting there meditating. And if you want to duet that, go for it. Because honestly, if you're not physically able to do that, it's not about the plank. If you could do it, fantastic. It's about demonstrating what it looks like to take 1 minute. That's all it is, guys. 1 minute out of your day for you. Now, if you think about that, how many minutes a week is that? That's 7 minutes a week. Is that fair? Don't you think you deserve more than 1 minute a week? Whatever that is. Could be sitting there having a cup of coffee. We have a friend of ours, Frizz, who will sit there sometimes and he's got a bad back. And he's like, this is what he does. I love that message. He'll sit there with a cup of coffee and he's taking it in. He's demonstrating that I want this message out there, whatever it is. But a mindful moment for you doesn't necessarily mean the plank. It could be a walk. That's simple. Or sitting with a cup of coffee, meditating, whatever it is. Yes, coffee. Hi, Sky. How are you? Chief, I think this has been a great conversation, and we have about 15 minutes or so left, and it's that time. Are you ready? You got to give me a sound check, guys. I got to make sure
Always
you can
ready.
hear it.
Always
Always
ready.
ready? All right, just breathe with me, Chief. Just breathe. We
I'm
got
breathing.
this.
It's fun. Look at that.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Yes?
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Let's go. Feel that vibe. Under the Let's go. Warming up.
It's all in the hips.
Dance, 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 dance. I know, I know. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but that got me here now, and I'm ready to clean the house. But whether you like that song or you don't, it's a vibe, and that's music, guys. Music does something to us. So if you need to go clean your house, maybe that's it for you. Maybe it's a different vibe. But either way, that one gets me going. I could see Rain. She's already dancing over there because it does. It makes you move. It's kind of hard not to. And hopefully it made you smile. Yes, because I don't care what I look like on TikTok, right? It's all about that positive energy, matching energy. We have about like 14 minutes or so left on this live, but I did want to wrap it up, Chief, with you and do kind of like a closing thought. Um, based off of what we're coming out of this week and what we're going into this week and what we want to leave people with.
Certainly. Well, it's been a busy past few weeks, not gonna lie. I've really loved all of the recent veteran lives. The music therapies are, I don't know, they're getting deeper and deeper to me, like just that love and support in there. But I realized, I talked a lot about all this work, blah, 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 but the results from that are I found some really amazing people in my life that I don't believe I would have found had I not put in the work. And when I see people like my brother 4 Points demonstrating real life,
Hmm.
like respectable actions he's showing for his son, I see and hear about these things and I've been there and I know how hard it is. But when I see another person doing the right thing, even when it's super fucking hard and it's not even a matter of integrity, it's it just reinforces that for me. Like I'm around the right people and I've got people in my life now that will hold me accountable and I realize they're not assholes. They're genuinely concerned for my best interest and will hold me accountable and be honest with me rather than enable me to continue down a wrong path that I'm not even aware about. That makes me very, very proud, and even more proud when I'm seeing it from these individuals on a daily basis. And I just hope that continues to grow. But again, make sure you are doing something for you. Take that mindful moment every day, and that can look like whatever you want. Last night after your live, I went out, I took a leak. It was dark. My porch light was on, and I saw these shadows, right? There I am standing there. But the American flag, the light was going through it. So it was like a red reflection on my shed, on my shop and the beauty of the reflection of the flag with the red and the tree, it made me feel so patriotic. And I had a little moment myself right there, just taking a leak in the yard.
Oh,
It was beautiful, the reflection, and I felt like super patriotic because the flag was going. I was like, America, and I felt amazing. And
Urka.
it made me,
Yes.
yeah, that made me just think about, our fam and our friends. And with Veterans Day coming up, it inspired me to write a message, which I'm not going to put out today, but I did write a really nice Veterans Day, a chiefly thing to do. That's what chiefs do. We say
Awesome.
shit at we say things. But I'm really proud of everyone that continues to show up. You're here and you all have a story. You've all been through probably worse. And just remember that it's all temporary. You are amazing and keep doing the work for you. Anytime you get down, say, you know what, we're going to get the fuck out of this. Maybe you just need to laugh. Maybe you need some music. Maybe you just need to go do some physical activity. But it's temporary and you've got others that are there to help listen and validate and hopefully not just try to provide you with solutions because that shit pisses me off. It's like
Yeah.
I just want to talk sometimes. So
Yeah.
much love to you all. Keep showing up for you and those that you love.
Absolutely. And by the way, guys, no one's an expert in your life. You are. It's that easy. It's that easy. How can somebody tell you what to do with your life? It's your life. You're in the driver's seat. So take that wheel back and start moving in the direction that you want to go into. And most certainly, tap into the people that fuel you, the people that bring you energy to want to see you grow. Because honestly, that's what I want. And you know, Chief, I want to see this grow more and more every day. One of the things that Sunny's realized. Gee, it's much easier to gain a following when you join a pity party, though, isn't it? Anytime there's negative energy, negative drama, whatever it is, people flock. But when it comes
Misery
time for
loves company.
for, for sure. But when it comes time to positivity, right? Being positive, positive vibes, it's like, oh, hell no, she's too positive. That means I got to put work in. So you literally just wiped yourself out. That's what it is. That's really what it is. Because honestly, you can find um, positivity even in the crappiest of days. And I've had them where I'm like, this day's a bust. And then I try really hard on those days to say, okay, come on, find something to be grateful about today. And you're right, Chief. I absolutely love when the sun comes through my flag when I'm out on the back deck. So I absolutely appreciate that too. Because I am too very super patriotic and I am looking forward to this Veterans Day. I'm actually going to be speaking at a nursing home to 19 veterans. So I'm excited about that. I got to put that together because that just kind of happened last minute yesterday. So yeah, I got to be good and do something spectacular for them, but I'm not sure what that looks like just yet. I appreciate you. I appreciate our coffee talk, and I appreciate all of you who are here with us this morning. Bring in the love, always bring in the love. The amount of love you guys give each other and support, you should really pat yourselves on the back because you're not just showing up for us. You're showing up for yourself, first of all, but you're showing up for each other. I've been reading the comments here on the TikTok platform, and I'm just like, what amazing people. Honest to God, you understand. You understand that we all have a story. You understand that life is hard, and you understand that together we're stronger and we're putting in the work and what that looks like. And we do try to help others do the same, but they have to be ready to do it. No one can do it for them. And you're 100% correct. We don't have to be a-holes to help somebody. We can just honestly be honest and give them a little tough love and say, okay, listen to what it is, and then help encourage them and motivate them. But at the end of the day, most certainly leave that ball in their court. It is their journey, not yours. And that's something I will always reinforce. It is their life. They have free will and they can choose, just like you've chosen, just like I've chosen. That requires work. And I also had read another comment which made reference to it's much easier to help other people. You know, I was known as the fixer. I actually sent a message to my son today. I'm like, you probably, I'm that person, guys. I just help everybody and anybody. But at the same time, it's also helped heal me. But one of the things that I was missing throughout the years was while I was helping everybody else, I wasn't investing in myself. And now I am very careful with that. You know, with my time, as you said, Chief. Um, People also have to invest their own time. So I love what you're doing with the music therapy. Keep it up. I look forward to your music therapy this evening. I hope you guys will join us because it really is a vibe. I enjoy it. I get moving and it's good people, good company. It's positive energy, and that's what it's really about. Lead in love and lead the way, and always practice kindness, guys. You know, we've had a lot of things go on recently, and many Americans are ecstatic and some are not so happy. And you know what? Try to redirect that conversation back to a place of unity at the end of the day. Have those conversations if you must, but go back to unity because that's really what it's about. It's about just being a good neighbor, being a good person, and helping your neighbors. And I'll always make reference to if you see somebody stuck on the side of the road, you're not going to ask them for their political affiliation and who they voted for. You're not going to give a shit. That's the reality. You're going to see somebody and you're going to say, can I help you? Are you okay? Do you need me to make a call? That's reality. These applications kind of like fuzzy it all up, but that's true. That's the truth out there in our society. Are people hardened? Yes, we've been through a lot as Americans and we're very resilient collectively and individually. And I do believe that we've already been through the toughest things already. And here we are. Keep putting in that work, keep investing in yourself because self-love is not selfish. I'm going to tell you right now, I used to think that my children, everything came before me. I even ate last. And they would always say that to me, Mom, are you going to sit down? I always ate last. Yeah, after I do this. Yeah, after I do that. Now I sit. And I take care of the kitchen after. And that's like anything else in your life. Stop making yourself last on the list. Prioritize where you are and where you need to be. Um, you know, keep being the person that you want your children to be, and always keep that in mind. And if you find yourself short, correct it. Your children will appreciate that. I think since I've started apologizing to my children in specific instances where I didn't react appropriately, like for yelling, for instance, because that's not the solution. They tune you out anyway. Now I actually have more power when I say, Mom's not yelling, Mom's whispering. Why are you yelling? It kind of stops them for a minute. She's like, right, she's right. She's not yelling. She didn't yell. Why am I freaking out? And I think as a result of that, I'm seeing more accountability come from my children, more of those apologies that I've long waited for. So practice what you preach, right? We try to do that. Lead in love, lead the way. And yes, we get spicy sometimes. That's just part of being human. But and that's really all I have for today. I will be back tomorrow night. It is Veterans Day coming up, and tomorrow is the Marine Corps' birthday, 249 years. I most certainly will be putting out a video for that. And if you are a veteran in this live and you want to share any photos with me from when you had baby face, please do, so I can put it together. And you guys will see Sunny and you'll see Chief. And that's all I got for today. So that's it. I hope you guys had an amazing Coffee Talk with us. I hope you had your favorite blend, Semper Fi. That's right, Chris. He's our, I got crayons for you, Chris. I do. They're somewhere. I just had them out last night. I got you crayons. You guys are amazing. Keep being amazing. And we will see you soon. I'm going to lead us out of here with Little Strangers Coffee Talk, which is actually not the name of the song.
Stop and smell the roses.
Stop and smell the roses. That's right. Where did my Coffee Talk song go? Oh, damn it. I think I have to play the other song, Chief. He's like, please don't. Please don't. Oh, my. Sunny
You want me
is
to play
not
it?
tech. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I say go for it. You do it. He's going to do it.
My
I'm
boy
just gonna sit
Rich.
back. We love you guys. You're amazing, and we wouldn't be here without you. And keep coming back.
Can you hear it?
Go a little bit higher. I'm going to mute.
Oh, I'll go higher. All right. There we go.
Hey, Kevin, come on over here and tell him what time it is. Okay. Oh, that's nice, Kevin. All right, now get out of here. I got this feeling inside, can't find no balance in my mind. I must be missing the point. I need a coffee and a joint. I got this feeling inside, can't find no balance.
Safety
in my
is
mind.
paramount.
I must be missing a point. I need a coffee and a joint. Coffee and a joint, coffee and a joint. Yeah. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the joint. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the joint. Coffee in the joint, come on, man. Yo, higher than an F-16 in Walgreens. Trying to find some eye drops at the bottom of the Listerine. Well, I'm Mr. Clean when I step on the scene. But yo, how did I get here? And what does this all mean? The last thing I remember was way back in September. Johnny had a doobie. It was groovy full of pleasure. But I probably didn't measure the amount I should have taken. Now I'm standing on the feeling, and this feeling got me shaking.
You guys are all amazing. Have an amazing weekend. We will see you tonight and tomorrow night and Monday night, like every freaking night. We're here for it. Lead in love, guys. Bye.